get to hear from Sam and Kacie Malouf about how they built their great business. But we also have a special reason for adding to this session this morning a recognition to Sam for something that's quite special to us, and that is what we call our Professional Achievement Award. We give these out occasionally, not always and not in great number. Last year we gave out 2. We didn't give out any the year before that. And so in 2018, the first recipient of our Professional Achievement Award is Sam Malouf. Now, let me just say a word about Sam and Kacie and the great business that they've started. Sam has his bachelor's and master's degree from Utah State University. And you know from reading a little bit about him, I think, that while they were in school, they were on an expedition to find some high-end bedding and found not too many choices. And what they found in terms of really top quality had really, really high margins associated with it. And so they started thinking about, well, maybe we could make a business out of this. And indeed, they have made a great business out of it. They started their company in their 2-bedroom apartment 14 years ago. And steadily it grew to become a recognized market leader, and today it employs over 200 people. And I think several of your employees are here with you today. Is that right, Sam and Kacie? And a couple of your children are here with us. 3, I'm guessing? Yeah? Okay. But, you know, one of the things that we like especially and drew our attention to Sam and Kacie and what they've done is more than starting a great business that meets a real need, is that they're using their resources and the opportunities that they have to really make a difference in the world. As you know, our mission at the Huntsman School is to prepare leaders of distinction in the world of commerce and public affairs. And Sam and Kacie have been doing that with their resources. They are very active in support of charitable organizations like Citizens Against Physical and Sexual Abuse, CAPSA, the Family Place, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and Operation Underground Railroad. And they've started a family foundation to support and advance these causes. And in fact, just this last year in June of 2017, Sam was named the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year for the Utah region. So I hope you'll join me in recognizing and honoring Sam Malouf with the Professional Achievement Award for demonstrating ethical leadership and entrepreneurial spirit in his profession and in his service to the community. Sam, congratulations. Wonderful achievement. Can I give you this? Thanks.
Sam, Kacie, let's get you on the hot seat here. Throw out some questions. Nothing about your favorite book. Welcome, everyone. So, Sam, you were a part of this in a panel last year, so you're a little familiar with it. Kacie, this is our leadership forum, and this is not working. Our leadership forum, and so we'll talk a little bit about your business and everything you're doing with your foundation, but it's really about from a CEO level, from an executive level, what leadership means to you. And we usually start off with a little bit about your history. So take us back to your college days at Utah State. How did you two meet?
I'll start. Let's see. These are on. This is sure comfortable here. This is a good upgrade from the bar stools. I like it. So, yeah, it's kind of a weird story. I served an LDS mission and was coming back, and my plan was to live with my younger sister. We were really close, and we're going to be roommates. And in the process, she was dating a guy and decided to get married, and his roommate was available, and we had a spot available, so he moved in. So that's how I got to know Kyle Hess. He's a Aggie here. That's her cousin. So that's how we did a roommate swap, and then we're introduced. So
worked out good.
So how did the college experience here impact the founding of the company?
Well, I actually majored in music. I did a music therapy degree and was kind of planning to move somewhere else in the country and kind of do music therapy there because there's not a lot of jobs here in Cache Valley or even in Utah. But I met Sam and we ended up getting married. So we stayed in Logan because he wasn't done with school yet, and I had a hard time finding a job. So I don't know, like school had prepared me to kind of think like bigger and, kind of dig in and kind of get scrappy and think of ways to make money that would work because I wasn't able to really use my major at that point. So I think it impacted me in that way. Just gave me the background to work hard and to think outside the box.
I think on my side, someone was actually asking me just before we started here what my major was. So I did a marketing degree and then did an accounting bachelor's and master's. And the wheels were always turning, I felt like, in the background. I mean, I think from the panel last time, I kind of understood that about a lot of you as well. As there's, things you're thinking of and wanting to pursue. And the timing wasn't right, and so that's part of the reason, I was in school, and part of the reason I was doing a degree is there was so much exposure, perspective, and I think surrounding yourselves with great ideas and inspirational professors. I loved my marketing classes. I don't know if Kent Barkus, is he still around? Yeah, great classes, and anyway, a lot of different professors I remember. But yeah, I think it was surrounding ourselves with the right environment so that when the right timing came, we were ready, to pursue. So.
And having like that background and skill base to draw upon.
Yeah. So betting.
So
100 business opportunities that people think about every day. How did you land upon betting linens?
I think we just kind of saw a need. We saw how expensive it was and how we didn't want to pay that price, but we still wanted to have nice bedding and nice things like that. And so we just worked at filling that need.
A lot of it was unplanned. As we look back and, in hindsight at this now, there's a lot of business ideas that apply to some people in some subsets and special interest groups. And fortunately for us, it wasn't the plan, but fortunately it's something that's infinitely scalable and infinitely relevant to everybody in any situation at any age and any part of the world. And so it's a lucky hit, but most people probably know the story. I mean, we were shopping for sheets as we were, setting up our first apartment and just saw the gap, really. And I think, we entered the market when it was quite a bit different. Things were antiquated. People were greedy. They weren't good at considering their customers, their constituents, really, and how to help them be successful. And so that was kind of where we got involved. Is we shot the gap. We played the presentation game a lot better than other people, and we definitely didn't belong. Like you said, I mean, it was random. I get asked all the time, like, "Oh, so your father started this company? It's textiles and Middle Eastern thing." But yeah, we were young and very, very uneducated in the subject matter, and just kind of hit it. And I think that was our advantage in the end, was coming from the outside and approaching it differently.
But our goal in the beginning really was to make like $1,000 a month, so I didn't have to work at Golden Corral. Like, that's how small we were thinking at the time. But then as things expand, you learn to kind of expand with it and grow your mind to open it to the possibilities.
So Dean Anderson talked about the fact that you started this in a 2-bedroom apartment. So take us through what that was like when you first decided we're going to do this, jump in with everything to where you are today.
Well, we didn't have any money. We had like nothing. So we had everything in our apartment there, and we bought like $100 shelves, and that was like a lot. And then we, had this bedding in there that we were selling from there. But
yeah, we had a $5,000 credit card. I mean, that's really how it started. And
yeah, we had a credit card.
When we had the idea, we were like, that was our going all in. It was maxing out that credit card. And I still remember the conversation of like, if this goes down, like, we're out.
Well,
like,
and the
it's
sleepless
$5,000
nights over that $5,000. We were so stressed out, but.
Yeah, I was in an apartment, and I was going to school. She was, a waitress at a buffet, and anyway, she didn't like her job. It was, kind of a terrible job for,
scraping food.
Yep.
Smelled. Yeah.
Nothing against buffets. We eat Chuck Ram all the time, but not Golden Corral anymore. But anyway, actually never again. Really.
We never went back. But we do like check around a lot.
Yeah. But I was in school and we were, some of these things I'm going to say are probably bad, but I was skipping classes and, hanging out at home, ironing sheets and taking pictures.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah. I had a Canon ELPH 2.0 camera, and I was the photographer, and I was, taking pictures.
Ironing
sheets
and yeah.
But yeah, we literally had stock rooms in our, in our apartment. That was the gig, and one of the turning points I think too was when we moved. We had a two-bedroom apartment. We had everything stored in the small bedroom. One day while Kacie was gone, I switched everything to the large bedroom and moved our bed into the small bedroom.
We had a king size that didn't fit. We had to crawl up from the bottom. We couldn't walk on the sides of the bed.
Yeah. So that was an all-in point.
In the closet, but.
And then it grew. Then we got a 10 by 10, storage unit. That was a big deal, and things grew from there. And I think another turning point we sometimes talk about is we had a 1,500 square foot warehouse in Logan. We moved back we were in Portland for a little while. And it didn't have a bathroom, so that was interesting because I was there all day.
Gas station.
I'd go to LW's to use the bathroom most days, a couple times. But there was a space that came available. It was 5,000 square feet, and we went to lunch and said, "Gee, this is the big decision. This is it. If we get the 5,000 square feet,
we'll never need another place.
Yeah, we can scale forever." Yeah. We crammed $1 million of merchandise in that 5,000 square foot warehouse, and now we have over 3 million square feet of warehousing space that we own, and it's like Kacie was mentioning earlier. A lot of it is vision, and I think recognizing how big the world is and how much opportunity there is, and not limiting. And we at many points I think limited ourselves with our scope and vision.
So, from the challenges of not having a bathroom in that little storage room, so what are the challenges today with 3 million square feet?
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I don't know. I think a lot of the challenges now are kind of the same. Like we still, worry about money. It's on a bigger scale, and so that's a worry. Space is a worry. We're constantly, we're shipping all this stuff in. Where does it go? Do we have the right place for it to go? Managing people a lot more, making sure our employees are happy is really important. So.
Yeah, we didn't hire the first full-time employee till about
7 years ago,
7 years in, probably. So, there was a point where we just said, hey, this is us. And, at the time, we really couldn't pay anybody else. We were, like Kacie said, we were making a few $1,000s to pay the bills. But a lot of this, challenges are still there. I mean, we were dealing with financing challenges then, and, it's a lot more open now. But money is very key to running businesses. If the money isn't there, it's a pretty quick slide back. And space, we're a just-in-time supplier, so we don't manufacture the product, but we specify, design, brand, handle all of the product. And so if we want to grow the company by 50%, we probably need 70% more space. And so if we do that this year, we'll probably need another 1 to 2 million square feet of space that we acquire this year. And so it's just a lot of those similar challenges on a different scale. And then, like Kacie said, I think the human side of things is a big change. That was a massive injection, really, when we made the decision to synergize with other people, and that's taken, what your individual potential is here to, whatever.
Because you're not good at everything. Like, you need to bring other people in that are good at the things you're not good at, and so that's been exciting to have people be able to help us with their talents and skills.
So Sam, when you accepted the Entrepreneur of the Year award, you said that you acknowledged Kacie for her role in building the company. You said Kacie did every job in the company, sales, accounting, marketing, orders, and that she continues to be your greatest source of leadership, wisdom, and inspiration. So tell us more about Kacie and how she is that source for you.
Yeah. She's waiting for this answer, because when I said that,
I want to hear this.
She's like, really? So, no, I mean, when I look back on it, there was so many breaking points where a lot of people, I think, would have folded it up. We're pretty risky people. We kind of, are not risk averse. I mean, we're open to putting it all on the table, really. And so that happened a lot, repetitively, over and over again. I mean, we put the chips all back on the table every time, and and said deal again. And a lot of times everything was on the line, again and again. And now things are more balanced and hedged. But Kacie tolerated, encouraged, and pushed on a lot of that risk. There were times when, not that long ago, 7, 8 years ago, where I'd tell her, hey, don't go to the grocery store for a few days. We're waiting for some checks, And so she dealt with that and was, obviously, as you mentioned, as far as doing all the jobs. I was in school some of the time, and I actually took a different job after college and went and did some real estate and things, and she was the one running the business, really. And so a lot of things would have fallen apart, I think, if it wasn't the two of us seeing eye to eye and working together. So
I'm going to turn the tables here. So Sam leads a large and successful and growing company. What do you think makes him such a good leader?
I think there's a lot of things about Sam. Sam is just generally a nice person. He doesn't want to make people feel bad. He really cares about other people, so I think that makes him a good leader. I think a lot of people, when they start having a lot of employees or seeing a lot of success, it's hard. You're in charge of so many things that you get wrapped up in hurrying or kind of your own agendas, and it's harder to relate to your employees or to people. But I think Sam does a really good job of actually caring about people, trying to meet the needs of what our employees want, what our employees need. And also, he's really smart. I think that helps. A lot of it is working hard. Most of it's working hard, but a lot of it too is just being able to have the vision to see long term and just being able to comprehend all the things that go in front of him. I think he does a really good job at that. So
Sam, when you were here last
this is good, like marriage therapy. We need to have
have
this
of
more
all
often.
these people. Yeah, it's good.
we might change this leadership forum into
Yeah.
that. So when you were here last September, someone asked you to name the person who's had a tremendous impact on you as a leader, and you answered that person who most impacted you was your mother. Can you tell us more about her and how she shaped you?
Yeah, so, like a lot of people, we grew up poor, we lived in an apartment, most of the time I was growing up, and my mom was very resourceful. I grew up in, basically a home daycare, at our house. So I learned to engage in child labor at that point with my paper route and things. But no, anyway, it was I had a lot of different jobs and businesses as a kid. So, my first job, I was 6 and I watched cement dry. That's a joke you hear, but that's what I did. So they pour patios in our apartment complex. They needed a kid to make sure their cats and dogs and other kids didn't run over the concrete. So I did that. I got paid, $5 for a day. But I had a lot of really dumb ideas, I think, as a kid that, business ideas, and my mom never said they were dumb. Would encourage them. I did, had a paper out, mowed lawns, actually bred golden retrievers as a kid, which is kind of an interesting life lesson pretty early on. But yeah, so I did a lot of different things, and she always encouraged me and didn't push me, on those things, but I think kind of recognized that that's kind of how my mind and, scope of the world worked, and helped encourage and empower little things that, I think kind of helped shape me.
So in your career, you've likely had situations that haven't gone the way that you planned.
Daily.
So how does that affect you? How do you deal with those situations?
Is this for me? Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll start on that. So a lot of things don't turn out how you like them to be. Life isn't perfect. Businesses aren't perfect. We have people that get hired all the time. They say, wow, this is just perfect. And we're like, well, look around a little further and get some time, and you'll find the things that aren't perfect. So, there's definitely that. I think as a company, we don't focus as much on blame, but we're pretty, we do care about accountability. And so, you lose money. There will be a lot of money lost in our company today because people, not everybody is making all the right decisions today. So sometimes those numbers can be huge. We had a situation last year when we discovered that someone was pushing the wrong button on thousands of packages and shipping everything, next day air all over the country for a while. We were just burning money for a few weeks until, we kind of had some signs and figured out what was going on. And, that was hundreds of thousands of dollars from one person making a mistake. And so things don't go right and perfectly all the time, but we kind of look at the net positive. That's a good life lesson for everything, is focus on the positive. And, when there's something bad that happens, we like to look at why it happened and try to prevent it from happening again. But we're not big on, punishment and, and blame. But, I think looking forward and looking to where you can go, especially if you kind of clean up the edges behind you. So
I think kind of along with that too, we've talked before, just kind of taking it back to the beginning of when we started, but there were lots of times when we thought, like, this is kind of the end of the road, we're kind of done, we're going to wrap it up and be done. But I think one of the biggest things is just like kind of digging in your heels and saying, like, I'm just going to work as hard as I can. If I have to work 20 hours a day, like, I'm just going to do that for now, and just kind of putting your all into it, not giving up too easily. So
Kacie, Sam has said, and I think both of you alluded a little bit here, that work should be meaningful and fun. So what role does fun play at Malouf? Can you give me an example of the culture at Malouf and what makes that unique?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things, like Sam, like I said, like he really does care about people, so he's always thinking, like, what's something like weird or cool I can do to like make people enjoy work or make people laugh. So they have like, this is just one example, but they have like a machine that people stand in, and like they have a meeting on Thursday morning that everybody goes to, so they pick a couple people to stand inside this machine, and it just like blows money everywhere, and they just like catch the money, and what do they get, like a minute, and whatever they catch, they get to keep. So just like, it sounds weird, but just like weird things like that just make it fun. And just, another thing I noticed, we just got back from Las Vegas from market, but letting other people kind of bring the fun, like it's totally not, Sam wouldn't ever do it, but like they kind of have like a cheer at the end of the day where they get everyone excited, and they all like, I don't know, it's like a football kind of cheer. It sounds weird, but he would never be able to lead that, but other people do it, and he wants them to do that, wants people to bring their personalities and their excitement to work, because when people are excited and happy, they're going to work better and be more efficient and all those things. So
you've gone from the 2 bedrooms to 3 million square feet. Where are you headed?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I actually had a conversation with a few people yesterday and told them that, Holly's been to our office and is always very complimentary, and the frame is really fitting and will fit in really well. I really like design. But, we used to have another office here in Logan, and another one. But the last office we were in that we moved out of 2 years ago, it's a lot different than our office now. And most of our employees, if we took them over there, they'd be like, so this was like back in the 90s that you were here, right? And we'd say, no, it was 24 months ago. And so our VP of sales tells, customers and industry analysts, like, hey, you think the last 5 years was crazy, wait till you see the next 5 years. So we're trying to, I think, detach ourselves from historicals and from, benchmarking and even self-benchmarking, and look at, let's not put ceilings on things. So yeah, I think what we said in an interview a while back is, we think we'll have 1,000 people, under the, Logan umbrella of employees in the next, 3 to 5 years. So we'll continue growing, and we've got goals of becoming we're in the top rankings, I think, in some of our different product categories, but we want to be the leader in mattresses and adjustable bases in the country, and we think we can get there. So that's as far as product and business strategy. I think that's part of it, but I don't know if the question goes deeper into employees, but we want to be a place that people like working, and that is a positive, major component of their lives, because it's a lot of time you spend working. And some of you may have jobs now. I'm sure most of you had jobs, and a lot of people don't like their jobs. And so, as Kacie was mentioned earlier, we believe a lot in making the work process not just fun, but fulfilling and growth oriented and positive, really overall positive in their lives. And so that's our commitment, is that if it's not a good thing for the people working, we probably don't want to be involved anymore. So I think that's a anchor we're trying to hold on to. And then there's a lot of charitable initiatives I think you're going to get into later. But yeah.
So what advice do you have for these students, given where you've come from and where you are today?
I think I've said it a couple times now, but just like working harder than, like, especially if you want to start your own business, but even if you work for someone else, just giving it your all, like really, really putting your heart and soul into whatever you do, and just doing your best, drawing upon all your skills and all your things you're good at, and working with that. Not giving up when it gets hard, because it will.
Yeah. It seems like we talk to people all the time, and we have a lot of employees that say, hey, I want to own my own business, and it's a great goal. It's easy for me to say, hey, that's not the only goal, because, where we're sitting, but, we didn't control all the outcome of what happened, right? I mean, a lot of it was timing controlled. We made ourselves an appropriate, vessel to carry the initiative forward, but there's a lot of timing. I tell people in our company, I'm like, if you burn the whole thing down and gave me hundreds of millions of dollars and my top 10 people, like, we couldn't recreate this. I mean, it's just a lot of market timing. There was a lot of, risk at the right time, and people that have made it happen at the right time again. So, and the question isn't totally focused on having your own business, but a lot of people that want to do that, and sometimes it's going to work out, sometimes it's not going to work out. That's people ask all the time, why don't you sell out? And there's a lot of reasons for that. The answer why we don't, but one of them is because this is good, and I don't know that we could emulate or replicate it again in even a different industry. But with that being said, I think there's, in our company and a lot of companies, I think empowerment is a really big deal. And we have a lot of, ownership in our company, and so people that have the aspirations of controlling something and, seeing it grow and move forward, there's a lot of opportunity, as Kacie said, to do that in different organizations and environments and work hard, and make an impact. So that's a own your own business professional side, and then, on the school side of things, I think there's a lot of timing components, and, I have my own opinions as far as what I would go back and do differently in college. And that would be too, I think, too polarizing here. But take advantage of your time, here. I mean, there's so much, perspective, and I mean, I hear about all the speakers you guys have here, and it's pretty wild. I mean, school was great when we were here, but it's even better now from what it looks like. So I think it's awesome what you guys have to take advantage of.
Thank you. So you talk about empowerment, you talked about culture before, so as you go from 200 to whatever the next number is, to 1,000, what are you looking for when you hire people?
Do you want to do, yeah?
I think we're looking for, it kind of goes along with this whole thing we've been talking about, self-starters, people that you feel confident can come in and take control of the assignments you give them and do their best and grow and build. And we're growing so quickly that I feel like anybody that we hire has the potential to, be a leader in the company, as far as having employees under them that work under them and that they manage and things like that. So I think just working really hard, owning the department that you work in, or the job that you're given. What else? I think people that just are happy to be there, people with good attitudes. I think that's important.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I was in college, I used to hate group projects. I just hated them because I didn't like how...
Control freak.
Yeah. And this is the past, right? But I didn't like how my destiny was determined by other people's commitment level or work ethic or, whatever. And it took a long time until, we were in this scaling stage of empowering people and just turning over reins and walking away and letting things collapse and move forward. And, in most cases, hopefully you're hiring people that are better at doing the things than you can do them. But there is so much value to, as Kacie mentioned, attitude and collaborative, synergy, really. And people that can get along in groups and work with other people can thrive in business environments. If you can't, They don't. In big organizations, there aren't a lot of Supermans, and in our organizations, there's really not any of. I mean, I help drive things, but everybody else, including me, is part of the is part of the puzzle. And so I think attitudes and positivity and being able to get along with others, as elementary as that sounds, is a big deal. So when we interview people and hire people, a cultural fit is a make or break. If they don't fit the culture and our culture is not complicated, it's just positive, and there's people you have to work with, and it's not a selfish me environment, it's a group environment, and that's how a lot of business is. If you can fit into that, you've got a chance. If you can't fit into that, you'll be limited as far as your progression. So that's a big thing we look for, in addition to, I think,
and also, I think, like, taking feedback, good or bad, and trying to work on whatever you're told needs to be different or fixed or whatever. Some people take really big offense to that, but I think it's good to just take a breath, take a minute, and try to understand where people are coming from, and just try to improve always. So.
Let me switch from the business side to something both of you are really passionate about. So at the Huntsman School, one of the things we try to do is enable our students to lead lives of meaning and contribution. And Sam, you've said before that you feel it's your role and responsibility to make the world a better place. So as Dean Anderson was saying earlier, you really focused a lot of your efforts on that side of the community, and especially your effort to combat human trafficking. So can you tell us how that came about?
Yeah, I'll start out on that. So we make bedding products, and again, we sometimes defend and explain things looking backwards, and it's not all planned, but some things really luck out nicely. So, in primary care situations, and in disastrous or poverty or emergency situations, bedding's a pretty good thing to have, and we kind of recognized that early on. So we would donate bedding to good, needful causes. And a couple of years ago, we said, hey, we want to scale this and make it bigger. And so we formed a foundation. And about at that time, a little bit before, I'd kind of been aware of this for a while. I'd watched some independent films and seen some stats on human trafficking. It's just appalling. I mean, that was 10, 12 years ago. And now it's still, people wouldn't believe that human trafficking happens in Cache Valley. And it does. We know of the cases here in the valley where people are trading kids for sex, for drugs, or money here in Cache Valley. But anyway, it became a lot more real. A couple years ago, we outfitted some aftercare homes where when they rescue the children, they take them somewhere where they're safe and help them rehabilitate and train them vocationally and help them start a life. So we outfitted some of those homes and became more aware of the issue and the topic, specifically Operation Underground Railroad that's located here in Utah. Last year through the Entrepreneur of the Year program, we were able to collaborate a little bit closer with Tim Ballard and his crew. So there's a lot of great causes. Protecting children is at the top, and protecting children in this arena is really at the top. And I think adults and people that have the ability to make a difference there. It's it's not a glorifying heroism thing. It's an expectation. Is kind of how we feel. And so once you know about it, and you don't just see the stats, but you really understand it, it's something you don't turn away from. So that's the cause. On the other side of the organization, people, and looking for some old people out here, but most of you are really young, right? And as you move further in life, it's not all about money, and it's not all about your career. It's not all about success. There's a different thing, I think, that people want to do good things, and there's a lot that feeds people's lives with that. And so I think about, in our case, we wanted to walk away. I would hope if we were walking away, we'd be walking away to something better. And I think better things are, helping other people. And so we're trying to bring that to our organization and provide opportunities for people to get involved in that, even though we're all still working.
I think, a lot of people want to help, but they don't know how. They don't know what to do. So just even with our employees, we, as a foundation, we just try to have activities and have opportunities for people to donate time or resources or whatever they want. And they don't have to if they don't want to, but we just try to give that opportunity to people, which is part of what we do. And then also it's with the human trafficking, I just think there's probably no better cause, and it's hard to hear about. You don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk. I don't like to talk about it, but it needs to be talked about because I think people are unaware. It's kind of one of those hidden, horrible things that goes on that we want to educate people on what it is and why it's happening and how to stop it. So.
I ruin a lot of dinner conversations these days, so.
Yeah, having that out.
Casey, something
Nobody wants
it's like, not here, let's just, anyway, but it is hard. It's hard, and I think it can be looked at very positively too. You know, we've been involved in, a lot of the rescue efforts, and you see the most insidious, terrible things that are happening to people that most of us would prefer death many times over, and people are helping them, and they're completely, like, you wouldn't even know what the people have gone through after a lot of the care they're given. So it's really hopeful. A lot of good things happening. So
now I understand we have a video that we're going to show about some of that.
Yep.
So let's.
Things are getting busy in the Malouf showroom here at the Las Vegas market. We launched our new Active Dough pillows, a totally new foam that offers the things people like best about latex and memory foam, and our new round from bamboo duvet set with our patent-pending duvet loop and tie system. It's great to see all our partners again and start off another successful year. The thing we're really excited about this market is the Forging Freedom event that the Malouf Foundation is holding here in our showroom space. Malouf at its core is a group of good people who believe in doing the right thing and being helpful. A couple of years ago, we started sending bedding products to aftercare centers that existed to rehabilitate children rescued from child trafficking. The more we learned and got involved, the more we were determined to make a difference and help these innocent children have hope for a brighter future. 2 million children are trafficked for sex worldwide. Most of them are 12 to 14 years old. They are bought and sold over and over in a day, which is why child sex trafficking is the fastest growing criminal enterprise in the world. You can sell drugs once, but a child can be sold many times a day, and the photos and videos from those criminal acts can be sold millions of times over. It's difficult to talk about, but the conversation needs to happen. And once you know, it's even harder to sit back and pretend that child sex trafficking doesn't exist or there's nothing we can do about it. We have a lot of partners in the furniture and bedding industry, and they're like us. They want to do good in their communities and help those in the most need. That is why we want to bring everyone together at the Las Vegas market to talk about the problem and make everyone aware so we can work together towards solutions. Tim Ballard, the CEO of Operation Underground Railroad, will be there with us to talk about some of the incredible rescue missions and aftercare efforts his team has led. Join us for the Forging Freedom event Sunday, January 28th from 5 to 7 p.m. in the Malouf showroom, space C1540 in the World Market Center. We hope to see you tonight. Thank you.
So how did the Las Vegas event go?
Yeah, it went really well. So that's kind of our intention in the industry is we have a lot of connections. We have over 3,000 accounts in the country and have a lot of impact on our partners and a good trust level. And so we're trying to help them become aware, and we feel like that we have a leadership opportunity in our industry to inform, build awareness, and ultimately build support, via financial measures to help with the cause. And so we had a good turnout. It was a good start. A lot of people ask us, are you going to do it again? We said, well, is the problem still here? Is everybody aware of it? No. Is there still money needed? Yes. So we'll do that. And we had, some good involvement. We had some celebrities there that was helpful for the cause. And then we'll keep doing it, see where it goes.
Well, I'm sure we have lots of questions from the audience, so let's turn that time over to Q&A from the audience. We've got some mics out.
So I really got to know what happened at Golden Corral.
Oh.
Well, I think Golden Corral.
There's nothing against Golden Corral.
It's just, you're carrying people's, we don't like Golden Corral, but we like buffets as a concept. But yeah, you're just carrying the food. It's all over your apron, and then Sam would have to scrape off my apron before I go to work every day, and it just was hard. I mean, it's hard work, and I felt like I invested 5 years in a bachelor's degree, and here I was, slopping food off people's plates. So it was a good inspiration to look for something more. So,
Neat.
yeah.
Also, how did you come up with policies for your betting company, for your employees, for your interactions? How did you make the policies yourselves? Did you borrow it from other companies, betting companies that you saw, or what did you really do?
Trial and error, yeah, right? Mostly.
Staffing, is that what you're talking about?
Staffing, or just like your company policies, like,
Yeah.
w-
Yeah, we probably learned as we went. I think if you're talking internal, that's something we're working on. I think most people here know Dr. Crane here. He's working as helping consult our company a little bit in some of the things that we're trying to improve. But some things worked well when we had 20 employees, and when there's 200, they just don't work as well. And other things you want to hold on to, even though it's hard. But we've been pretty policy low over the years, and now as we get bigger, there's some other some regulation you have to put in. But we try to not. Freedom is a big element of our company, and autonomy and empowerment, and so we try not to put fences around people and micromanage. Yeah, trying to trial and error.
that's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so you're in a 2-bedroom apartment, you have your employees. How did you get the word out? Describe your marketing process from the ground up when you first knew, okay, we're doing this. Now how do we get the word out?
Well, for a long time, it was just the two of us, and maybe like 7 years, really. We sold online. We did different things. As far as, are you saying like when we started hiring employees? How did we get the word out about our
okay, you
brand?
have a website. Did you go with traditional marketing methods, or did you,
I think a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so we leverage a lot of the online 3P platforms that have eyeballs and traffic already, and so, and the market was different then. I still remember when I was at school here in 1999 or 98, started school and was considered a mission, and was going on a mission, and was like, man, I'm going to miss the .com hit. I could see it coming, and I was like, 2 years, it's going to be over when I get back. But yeah, back then it was Wild West. There weren't as many competitors, and people hadn't figured that out now, and that's one of my comments on the industry, though, now. Not the industry, but all consumer goods. We know this. Everyone here is, a lot of millennials and young people, but there's still resistance in conventional retail to resist .com, and it's sweeping. Everyone that says no now is saying yes in a year or two. So, but yeah, so we leveraged, I think, a lot of the existing traffic.
All right, thanks.
So my question, I work as a professional staff member here with undergraduate students, and then I also have 4 of my own children, and both of your stories have a lot of grit factor. We hear that word a lot and are trying to instill that in students. And your childhood resonated with me, and a lot of experiences you had where you had to fail. How do you do that thinking about your own children growing up, who are having a much different upbringing than you had, to still instill those factors of grit and determination and failure?
How nice they're here.
Yeah, you can preach a little bit.
We've got another couple that aren't here.
Family therapy.
I think it's kind of hard. I think when you can give your children, and the way we live in Cache Valley and in the United States, you really can give your children the world. You can, and so you have to be really conscious about how you raise them. Like our kids, I like to let them know, like, it's our money, it's not your money. You don't have any money. So we try to make sure that they know that, like, and then also just encouraging them always work hard at school. My oldest son has gotten mad at me before because, he just won't turn in assignments at school, and he gets in a lot of trouble. And I think just making sure that you encourage your kids, like, you don't have a free ride, just because you live here and you have the life you do. And so just encouraging them to work hard. I think we could do a little bit better job at that, just from the therapy standpoint, but giving them work around the house. They get so mad at, they think I'm so mean and I make them do so many things, but they need to contribute and work hard. And Entrepreneurially, I don't know. I'm trying to think what we do with them. They have a lot of ideas. We try to foster those. So I don't
We
know.
don't tell them if they're dumb.
We don't.
Ideas. Move to a farm. That'd be a good advice.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate the question earlier about how you kind of made decisions as you grew. And I wanted to kind of hone in on that, especially as to like principles. You said certain values maybe changed as you grew, or how did you decide which ones to stick on to and grow? How did you stay humble through this? Because you seem so down to earth and genuine through this process where you've been so successful.
That's a good question. I think a lot of the things we do now, we get asked all the time. Some of you may have heard. We have a lunch staff, a chef staff of 10 cooks that are full-time in our office, and we serve lunch every day to everybody, and people ask and say, that's just crazy, why would you do that? And we said, well, it's what we did when there were two of us, we just thought it was easier and better, and it's turned into a much higher level value than what it was when there were two of us. It was done out of convenience. So there's a lot of things that I think just are inherent to the people that are there and kind of the foundational principles of the company. And that's something I don't have a perfect answer for you because we're working on that. We're trying, we until I think about 3 years ago, there were no managers in the company. There were still 40 or 50 people and everyone thought I was their boss and I didn't really know what a lot of people were doing, and so it was kind of dysfunctional communicationally. So we said, well, maybe we should put some people in charge and have a few titles, and there's still some debate there. Most people in the company don't have a title, and we're not really sure why that is. It's kind of because that's how it was, and we're not sure if we should change that. So there's a lot of things that stick. Like we will always have lunch together.
I think a lot of the fun things, like you want to keep that. Like we also have like a barber there that cuts everybody's hair once a month. Everybody gets a free haircut, and it sounds superfluous, but it's something that people enjoy, and it's something we'll always have, even though it is kind of expensive. But we think it's worth it. So just keeping those fun aspects of fun, so that you keep employees engaged and happy. So.
Good question.
I imagine as you're starting a business that it's always on your mind day in and day out. Now that your company has expanded, do you feel like it's been easier for you to kind of take a step back, kind of turn off your mind and let your business run? Or do you feel like it's still constantly on your mind?
You sound like you're thinking about one thing a lot, sounds like. No, yeah, I think it has changed a lot. I think one of the things we talk about is balance, something we encourage, family's going to be more important than anything else really in your life, and so we encourage people to have a good work-life balance. We did not have a good work-life balance for the first long time, and that was one of the sacrifices that we did. And that's part of the reason we're here, but we recognize, that other people don't have to sacrifice like that now because of, where things are at. But, there's lots of redundancies in the company now. So, when I'm I'm engaged, and when I'm not, there's a lot of other people, catching all the balls and, and driving really. So it takes a concerted effort though, because if you like something and you're into something or you're good at something,
I think it's still on the mind. I think it's always kind of in the back of your mind, but it's different things. Like you're kind of, I think more, at least for Sam, like I know I've said this a lot, but I think he's really thinking about like, how do I make people happy working there? How do I, it's different things than like the day-to-day like logistics of the business, but I think it's always kind of something on your mind. But we have a lot more freedom now, like we can travel. We used to have to travel with like a UPS label printer, and we'd have to like print our labels at night. We didn't have a lot of the freedom that we have now, and now we get to travel and more and things like that. We have people to help us with the running of the company, but I think Sam thinks about it a lot still, so which is good.
I think about her mostly.
Always, yeah. 24/7. Thanks.
I told Kacie people are going to ask tons of questions.
Oh,
there's been some good ones. But.
So I have a question. I'd be interested, Kacie, in how your role in the company has evolved over time and how you might see it evolving in the future. It sounds like you spend a lot of time thinking about the people as well.
I think for me, in the beginning, I did kind of everything, day-to-day runnings of everything, and then we started having kids, and even after we did, I would print labels at night or when they were asleep. I still worked. I was home with the kids, but whenever I had a chance, I would work doing things related to work. And then we had twins, and that was kind of the end of that. So now I think in the future going forward, like Sam and I talk a lot, I'm really aware of what's going on as far as like day-to-day runnings of the company. I just don't have time to do that right now. In the future, I think I want to focus my thoughts and efforts behind the foundation and just behind trying to do more with that. So that's my plan.
So from the way you talk about the foundation and your employees, it's really clear to see that you care about people a lot. But there are several companies out there that don't share your same values in that way. And you talk about working with other companies to really affect change. But so when you go to a potential partner and try to help them to see and understand their role in helping solve some of these issues, right? How do you convince them and help them see and understand their role that they have in that and understand why it's important?
Sure. Well, I think not everybody's convinced, right? There's different levels, I think, of, hey, we want to do all these things, make people happy at work every day, and some companies aren't going to embrace that. A lot of our partners, I think, see some of our values, and they have a lot of crossover and overlap. But the human trafficking issue it's not a hard sell at all. It's like, mention it and people are shocked, and then the education starts, and then I think when they believe what they're hearing, it's a hard thing to not want to care about, because it's just so terrible. So
maybe a little bit of peer pressure too, like we're doing it, we're trying to make this happen, and then hopefully that makes other people see like, oh, I can do both. I can be profitable and I can have these other nonprofit initiatives.
And there's business pressure too. Some of the joke around and call it reverse money laundering, but it's like when we can get somebody, and maybe they've got the wrong motive, but we create these industry events and everyone's like, well, gee, everyone's there, the who's there, and we're like, yeah, come for business motives, I don't care, but come, we're going to rope you in, and we'll maybe even help you commit money, and maybe it's for the wrong reasons, but we'll take the money, and then hopefully it'll convert to the right reasons. So, but we take money from the profit sector and put it in the non-profit sector, and I think that's fair. So, good question.
So I love the Al Roker story about Malouf. Oh. Can you share that with my students, because I don't think they know it?
Boy, I wasn't there. Actually, the guy that was there is right over here. Why don't you take that one, Jake? So I know the story secondhand. Do you want to tell the Al Roker story, Jake? We had some interactions with Al Roker.
Well, as you know, Sam loves the limelight, and no, but not really. A little while ago, we had an opportunity to connect with some higher profile influencers at an event, and Al Roker came. It was kind of interesting, as Sam talks. I think working with him for a while, he's a very genuine person, and he is who he is at all times, and it's not that way in the outside world. And Al Roker came in, kind of hunched down, really unhappy looking, and as soon as we started talking about pillows, he perked up and was excited, and we offered him the chance to sleep on one of our pillows, and he got the cameras on, turned his game face to the happy guy that we usually see, and we gave him a pillow. So we're definitely excited and willing to help people sleep well, no matter what life status they have.
Good question. Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone so much. Let's give it up for the Maloufs, and thanks also to Dean Patel for helping.